Hello and welcome to the most hated show, the Black Corner of the Internet. I'm your host, the Whiteologist, Mr. Blows Your Minds, and this is Black MINDZ News. Black MINDZ News channel is to report, articulate, transmit, communicate, articulate, unveil, decode, spread the news, whether it's by news, video, websites, or quotes from publications. As I articulate these information, I accept the creator of the universe, be here, heart, soul, mind, and spirit. Because why? The truth don't need no partner. As a descendant of the greatest people who created this land that you call the United States, we, the foundational blacks of this land, the Black Americans, which we identify ourselves as BADOS, Black American Descendant of Slaves. Some say ADOS, American Descendant of Slaves. We, the historical lineage, biological bloodline ties to the slaves who create this land. We, the children descendant of that. We give honor to our ancestors. You know what my motto is? I'm never going to tell you what I heard. I'm only going to tell you what I know. Day's date, August 5th, 2019. Did you hear? Well, on July 25th, 2019, an article came out that told about what had took place in the House of Representatives. Said that the Democrats had unanimously yayed to reparations for gay couples. Let me say that again. July 25th, 2019, House of Representative Democrats unanimously said yay for reparations for gay same-sex couples. Now again, that word in itself, reparation, is a trigger word. Especially when, again, as intro as I'm talking about, says BADOS and ADOS. If anybody's going to be reparated in this land, if there's going to be any talks about reparations, it need first start there. Well, since maybe you didn't hear about it, let me go ahead and show you about it. So you just stay tuned for this broadcast. Hey, how's y'all doing? Again, this is your host, Mr. Blows Your Mind, as this is Black MINDZ News, the report show. First and foremost, I want to say what's good to my subscribers, old and new. What's good, fam? Thank you for your participation, that those who I do get. Others, well, you might be a little slow. I understand you're occupied with things. Maybe sometimes not topics you want to hear. I get it. So anyway, I thank you first and foremost for Black MINDZ News. Passerbys, if you should just happen to pass by, somehow your GPS on your internet search has somehow took you on the dead end, which is where this show is at. This is the most hated show in the Black Corner of the Internet. We thank you for if you stay. And maybe you just shop around and browse, because we always got a grand opening over here. You can always go down the aisle, see something you might like. If you should happen to see something that kind of make you feel some kind of way, remember that the motto of the show is the truth don't need no partner. Now let's get into this, right? You know, I recently stopped reading the article, but I said I think I better go ahead, because again, we're getting around that time where all information need to be disseminated in its entirety, not to leave anything unturned. So, says Democrat House unanimously okays gay reparations. Bill giving tax refunds to same-sex couples. Let me say that again. Democrat House unanimously okays gay reparations. Bill giving tax refunds to same-sex couples. So it says that on Washington, D.C., July 25th, 2019, the Democrat-controlled United States House of Representatives on Wednesday approved legislation enabling married same-sex couples to seek millions in tax refunds for unions that were not previously recognized under federal tax law. The Pride, Promoting Respect for Individuals' Dignity and Equality Act, removes sex-specific terms such as husband and wife from the federal tax code and allows couples married, while the Defense of Marriage Act, which protects states and the federal government from having to recognize same-sex marriages from states that chose to recognize them, to claim tax refunds for which they were ineligible. United States Supreme Court struck down DOMA in 2013. The Washington Blade reported that the Joint Committee on Taxation put the estimated amount the feds could have paid out if the bill becomes law at $67 million. The Pride Act passed the House on Wednesday by voice vote, meaning lawmakers were not required to put a vote on the record. Notably, no Republican resisted. The Hill noted that New York GOP Representative Tom Reed expressed a technical concern about the legislation, but supported its core purpose to make sure our tax code is reflective of the law of the land as it has been declared by the Supreme Court. In passing the Pride Act, Democrats are honoring our diversity and providing long overdue justice to countless same-sex couples across the country who have been denied critical tax refunds because of who they are and who they love. Democrats House Speaker Nancy Pelosi declared, CNN reported, she called on the Republican-controlled Senate to quickly pass and reaffirm the bill and its message. Massachusetts Senator and 2020 presidential candidate Elizabeth Warren is spearheading the bill's Senate counterpart. It's not yet known whether Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell will allow it to come up for a vote or whether President Donald Trump, who is a conservative on some LGBT issues but supports same-sex marriage and homosexual pride, would sign it into law. What Ms. Warren doesn't mention to people is the IRS already allows everyone to amend the last 3 years of returns. Tammy Bruce, a Fox News contributor and gay conservative, wrote last month, instead she wants couples to be able to amend their tax returns for the entire time they were married in one of the 10 states allowing gay marriages prior to federal recognition. But why stop there? What about all the gays and lesbians who never had a chance to marry? It all because of the Clinton administration Defense of Marriage Act. That has to be asked because this has nothing to do with tax fairness and everything to do with reinforcing the politics of resentment and victimhood. Bruce argues for the Democrat Party machine, however, there can never be success. There's always has to be a new amending wrong or a violation, some new campaign to convince you that victimhood will never end and you must always resent, well, everyone. All right, so that there is the article that came out talking about how the, matter of fact, I'm going to give you the vision of that. I should have did that already, right? How the Democrat House unanimously okayed gays reparation, giving bill, or the bill that's giving tax refund to same-sex couple. Now, the key word in there, as you see, is what? Tax refund, right? Now, again, you know, but you're using the word reparations. And so when you hear the word, and again, in the spirit of time in the 2020 campaign, is launching and out the gate. Certain people had came out the gate, especially from the Democratic Party, saying that we are down for studying, right? HR 40, again, those who've been on this show know that I had already read that. So for those who did not take the opportunity to go over there and read it myself, I, as a news source for Black media, went and did that for you, right? And so after looking at it, you understand it was all about studying reparations, trying to come up what would be the best terms, and then after that we'll propose it as it should maybe get passed so that we can go ahead and try to redeem, right? Reparate for the past injustices, right? But so what we see is in 2019, as of July 25th, that they got a unanimous vote, right? Without any hesitations, right? And again, some people might say, well, you know, tax funds is like people who put their money into the system, right? Everybody knows that if you work, that they take money out of your checks, right? And, you know, maybe 3 months out of the year, the beginning of the year, that money is being, you know, sought and put in there. And then you can go file later on and somehow you're supposed to get a tax return. So in a sense, this is just the normal process. But again, there was a stipulation again for those, again, was something that was not considered legal at the time, became legal. Again, I think it's in 2015, right? June 25th of 2015. That same-sex could now be legally married. But prior to that, and I think it was during the Clinton administration, they had an act called the DOMA, right? Now that was for those, again, that they came up with this legislation that said that marriage is basically between man and woman, right? And so with the new proposal of passing this bill, is going to now change the wording of wife and husband to just meaning married, meaning there's not really gender specific, right? And again, you know, again, traditions of some people, again, the way they see it, again, I always say that the fight between the alphabet people and the mindset that those who are not part of the alphabet people is the foundation of the teaching that has came from what they believe to be scriptures and Bible. And so I said, I always believe that those who are part of the alphabet people, your fight has never been against just the, you know, the population of society. It was against the institution that has inculcated the mindset about how they view. Now, again, either God said it or God didn't say it. Now, again, the minute you say, again, like a credibility in a case, once you have contradictory or you false testimony, then the credibility, everything else seems to have no merit. So good luck in that. And again, they would say, they ain't going to say nothing. So it's kind of like everything falls again on the population of society. You say you're going to like it and you're going to learn to like it, right? It's one of the kind of things. You're going to like it, you're going to learn to like it. So let's look at reparations, right? Because I believe that the reason why they use that word is because it's a trick word, right? Because again, sometimes the generality of words, right? A lot of times you just know how to spell a word, know the basic general definition of a word. But again, they have different facets on these words, right? And so when you say reparation, you're talking about redress. You're talking about to amends, atonement, redemption, restitution, expiations or requital, retribution, satisfaction, compensation, indemnity, indemnification, recompense, let's say remuneration, payments, repayment, reimbursement, one's money back, recoupment, and refund. Oh, right? So I said two of that would be repair, restoration, renovation, right? And that's pretty much what everybody understands about reparation. Now, again, reparation is the same word if you say, reparation is the same word as refund, right? So to me, it looks like that the people, again, that does the legislation says this directly gay reparations, or does the person who wrote this article is using that, and again, to poke and prod at black, BADOS and ADOS of this land, and use the word reparations to, again, get you in an emotional state. Have you feeling some kind of way, because you're going to say, hey, these motherfuckers getting reparations. We ain't got reparations. That's just, right? Get you all stirred up, right? Stirred up. But the key to this is tax refund, right? Reparation is the word that they use, but the truth of the matter is they're saying tax refund. And they're using it as really a political ploy because, again, I look at it this way too. Since black people have not been going lately or trying to get out of the traditional way that the bloc that would vote would just vote Democratic. Now, again, you give us the front runner and we will support it because we're just naturally Democrats. But the new energy and spirit has risen coming out of the black corner of the internet. And it's telling people, again, the way that how other people play the game of politics. We now have to stop playing in that form and fashion. We can't just give our vote away because some representative comes or candidate comes that comes and speaks at the church, and somehow it's not said directly, it's not even told to you to do it, but because the pastor has brought him in front of everybody feel like, well, okay, we pastor brother, so he must be saying we must vote for him, even though they don't say that, right? And you'll get a chicken dinner, some fish, and some spaghetti, and you gonna go vote in somebody who ain't got you don't hold no fire to the feet, nothing about no promises, but he gets your vote or she gets your vote. But see, the new has grown up and now said the way that you play politics is that you get something for something, right? You changing from my hand to your hand, and this is the commerce of politics. And so that because black people in the Democratic Party hold the biggest block, and now at this time in the age, and again, we're now in August, closing on the official date that they claim will be the 400-year commemorative. But again, we've been there much longer than that, because again, these was ones who stole it from somebody else. But anyway, 400 according to their count. And so, that energy and spirit is in the air. And I just believe a lot of people are not really trying to deal with it. I think a lot of things about these shooting and killing, a lot of stuff being said is a way to kind of divert you off of so that we don't have to deal with it. That's another thing too. Why is they having the so-called return to Africa as if like, wait a minute, you can't specify specifically that any of us came from directly from there, from the ports. So you're taking us back there as this kind of tourism thing, and they ain't even trying to tell anybody how much money it is. A lot of people couldn't afford to go no way, but they go there, right? But again, our event is here in this land, not in Africa. That's something entirely different. So what you're trying to do, again, you're trying to divert the attention off of you and put it somewhere else so that you don't have to deal. Are y'all picking up on that? They're not trying to deal with the commemoration of what took place because of fragility of mind. So what they trying to do is, those who are, you go over there, and you had Nancy Pelosi, she went over there, right? I mean, it's the craziest thing. They talking about stuff that you probably talking to people here in this land. And you talking to other people that like, they just hearing you speaking. So again, this whole thing to divert. And again, like I said, pride and public, because they mad because you making them work now. You're making the Democrats have to work for this. And they're trying not to deal with you. So what they're doing, they're going around you. So what we're going to do, look, LGBT people, the alphabet people, look, we're going to pass it, and now you could go back and get some refunds. So that's going to be a little reparation. We're going to kind of pay you for our votes. We're going to need everything to try to beat this dude, Donald Trump. Immigrants, we're coming in. You can come in sanctuary cities. You can get licensed. You can work. You can pay taxes. We're going to tell them they're not going to vote. We're going to vote for you. Don't worry about all that. All right, we're going to do that for you, okay? See, so everything is to get yourself not to deal with, and then you got to try to split us up because you got some people crying. Did you see the video? Remember when nigga was crying? Trump and all the new jobs, and if you want to be somebody, did you see that? I was sitting here like, I'm like, oh my God, right? So, you know what I'm saying? So, you're trying to divvy us up, but again, the block, and then so you get mad because again, you got some people who are out here as ADOS advocates and so forth, and channels are getting banned, and people getting banned out of getting in countries, and a whole lot of stuff going on, right? And the most hated show been bun because I done said some stuff long before everybody's got to that point. But anyway, so it's just funny. Again, it seemed to me you're pissed off, and so because you feel like we on, and you feel like that maybe we're trying to hold a stranglehold on you, you're gonna do all kinds of things. So it's little stuff like this. It's gonna try to trigger you to get you upset. Again, I believe it's a little bit more about diversion because nobody wants to deal with the commemorative. So so you need to have back-to-back killings. So I mean, really, is it close? The more I get closer to that day, people head gonna explode, huh? It's kind of like when Chappelle did the sketch. Remember with the when he was the Klan member and said, "Let me see your face. Let me see your face. You want to see my face?" Yeah, and they took the hood off, and mother was a nigga, and they all heads, and mother throwing up, spitting, and heads blowing up. Well, that's what this 400-year commemoration is kind of doing, right? So everybody getting upset and mad because, again, you don't want to do this. So you don't want to be reflective about what, again, we are the descendants and lineage of that what took place, and you haven't done that. So you look at the despair and the things we are, and you want to contribute it only to our own. See, if you don't talk about that, as long as you don't have to deal with that, then you just say, look at you now. You're not doing anything. But see, we throw this at you. Now you have to be faced with the fact that you know what it is. You know what we've been through. You can't pretend anymore. You understand? So, anyway, going on back into this. So, you see that the Democrats unanimously went ahead and, did their yays, and the thing they did it, how the slick way they did it, if you heard, I made sure to say it twice, voice vote. They didn't put it down on record so that you, as a person who is going to, go and pick for election, to see if the candidate whether they picked it or not. You understand? It's not going to be on the record for that. So they just did a yay and nay, right? So there will be no record of who did and who didn't. But they said all Republicans went along with it because, there ain't no records to say who did it. So they can't say what they did or didn't, right? But they said unanimous, all of them. So I guess they saying it don't matter. They all did it. So anybody who, Republican and got an issue, if he's a Republican, he did it, right? Democratic wise, you don't know. You don't know who did what. So again, it's sliding it in. Now again, this is just a bill they're setting up to set up for, again, got to go through another process. And so, it said refund again. People have been together. Again, it could be common law marriages, the same way, depending on what state you're in. And people were in relationships, and then people were dying, and the people, they couldn't get the money. And so again, this is all about money, right? It's all about the money aspect about it, right? So the legislation, because now that you done made it legal, and according to whatever state is, some of them will recognize and some won't, but they have it legislatively by the Supreme Court that ended up passing it 5-4, right? That knocked down DOMA, which again was about marriages basically between man and woman, husband and wife. But now with this being passed, what they're going to do is shift the terms of them words and make it become more of, it's just the term marriage or married. And you see that they said there's going to be about $67 million, right? That is going to be supposedly, dispersed. Now, Elizabeth Warren jumped on the bandwagon and was like, for 3 years going back, you can amend. Again, I think that's part of the IRS way that you can actually get 3 years to go back to amend certain things. And then you see that, no, they say, well, really what you're trying to say is they need to be able to go back all the way even before. You know what I'm saying? If you was being hindered because of DOMA and what Clinton and them signed, and you can prove that you could go back and get the money. So again, you see, you're what? You're proselytizing to people to say, see, I'm fighting for you. Look, right? I'm fighting for you, right? I'm trying, you know what I'm saying? I believe that you were done wrong in this. Okay. All right, politicians, we get it. That's the way the game goes. I get it, right? But the same thing we said here is we as BADOS and ADOS, we need you proselytizing us too. So you see that Nancy Pelosi said, hey, all right, we did our job down here as representatives. You in the Senate, you do it to reaffirm this, and let's get it on there. And they said, well, maybe Mitch McConnell won't put it before there. Or maybe Trump won't, you know what I'm saying? Hey, right? They said, but we did our job. So this is where everybody is safe. Now it just be on what candidates that the alphabet people like. So if you nay it, you will be a scarlet letter towards them. You understand? And so, you know, as black people, I'm just saying, I'm just going to get a story for how I see it. Because again, I'm not going to get in all emotional about this because again, it's about tax refund. It was a play on words. It's not really so much reparations in the way that we saying reparations again, like, you know, what we've gone through here as, you know, foundational blacks of America or the United States and other people, so forth. Those are all tragedies. This here is just the fact that China, you know, recoup or, you know, be reimbursed for something they should have gotten. And the same thing with us with reparations too. But I think it's much bigger and much longer, and I'm not trying to justify this at all. What I'm saying is, it's just a play on words. You understand? It's really a play on words to throw at us because, again, a lot of people are upset with us because, again, we're not following the tradition that the way they always wanted it and had it fixed. And so because of that, people are pissed. And so if you heard this or seen this and you felt some kind of way, just understand that it's a play on words. Reparations, refund, all that shit is the same. But the person who wrote the article did that to, again, to make you feel some kind of way. It's not really, reparation, you can say it, but that's not the really word you're going to use. But he used it anyway, right? Could be gay refunds, billing, giving tax refunds, but he's saying tax refunds, so it's another way to play on it. So, yeah, what it is, you know, we still going to advocate for what we got to do. We still got to push and pride. And still, the Democrat Party can't make no forward progress without us. No matter what they say, no matter how many people you try to push up in here, and how many other chicken dinners and stuff you get, you're going to need the bulk of this. If you want him out of there, you're going to have to come see it. So this is Black Minds News. Just want to bring this and a little bit information for those who might want to hear about it. And again, you know, we got to stay vigilant, stay strong and everything out here because, again, we only got each other, see each other, get that universal nod. What's good up, brothers and sisters? Because the only thing we got is us. See, everybody seems like they in this race to get something for themselves. I see so many different hyphenations to people who are already the same. Like you could be a white person and yet you could still be a person about preference about race. About your sexuality. You could be also gendered. You know what I'm saying? They got so many different other ways past it, but this really is just white folks. Right? But then you break it all up and then now it give you more categories to try to siphon and get more. No, it's just this, man. What's all this other stuff? Priority. Where's our shit? We prioritize before all this shit. But everybody don't want to deal with that. Because, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing worse than being a poor white person than to be, you know what I'm saying? They say a nigga is better than a poor white person. You understand? And so that's what it is, man. Everybody ain't trying to see us with no kinds of money. Did the poll just recently? Poll came out saying what they said, and I still didn't believe the way that they did it, but it's like, I don't get it. Everybody know the wrong that's been done, but when it comes to reparating it, you don't want to see that. So they just really telling about who you is. See, the poll will say who as a nation. The poll is telling as a nation what you feel. And so all this I'm not and this is it don't matter. You could be alphabet people, they ain't liking black people getting nothing. You could be white woman liberation, you don't like black people either. You understand? White man, country woman, it don't matter. It's all the same. No matter how you try to break it up, you try to say Republicans and Democrats, they both unanimously are still, they don't like niggas. So it's just, what game is we really playing, right? So again, this is Black Minds News, come with another Black Minds Report. Again, let me go ahead and do some of this. I should have did this already, but I didn't do it, so I'm going to have to do it this way. Let's do this up here. Let's do this, all right? Let's see if I can get this right.